on this ride. I want to have breaking news. We actually are, because of a deal with the carriers out in San Francisco, we are out in San Francisco today.
Oh, that is fantastic, Joe.
Yes, and I believe in Tokyo, NHK is picking up some of the feed from San Francisco. So I think we might actually be on in Tokyo even.
I think there are probably numerous Japanese individuals glued to their television right now.
Yes,
and of course, as always, I am Harold Bigsby, the occasional drifter and co-host of Joe's program. We've unfortunately lost Vincenzo Gagnotti, or Needy. I always mess it up. He got seasickness.
I told him not to go on those boats before the show.
He lives on a boat, and he never takes the Dramamine.
So much vomiting.
But I could see that you're hot with news, Joe.
Hot with news. Let's start it off with the biggest news story of them all, Men in Black 3.
Oh, and we got to see that separately.
Yes.
But the experience was shared.
We did share that experience. So what do you think? Do you think they brought the series back to its original charm?
I think they definitely bypassed the abysmal performance of 2002's Men in Black 2, which, while bringing back Rip Torn, could not get off the ground. The thing was a rehash of old jokes. They had David Cross again. He was dead in the first, I thought. Unusual.
But they did have Will Arnett this time to make up for David Cross.
Well, yeah, I think this time they kept what was good about the original formula. They didn't try to re-explain the neuralizer. It was, they have the audience for the film, and they introduced new characters, new antics, new humor. So.
What do you think about Josh Brolin?
I thought Josh Brolin did a pitch-perfect Tommy Lee Jones, and I'm not alone in this. And I think he must have picked it up on the set of No Country for Old Men a few years back, in which they both appeared.
You realize that they weren't actually on the set together during that movie.
Well, regardless, he watched the movie. He's familiar with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen The Fugitive at least 3 times.
It's kind of funny. This is the second movie he's in with Tommy Lee Jones that he does not share
a minute of screen time.
Yes, or any topic.
But they were at the after parties. They were kicking it back at the Oscars.
Drinking some
scotch. Getting loose. This isn't like the Dean Martin days of television. I think people try to play it safe.
Yeah. Wow, that is an interesting title. See, MIB is up here.
Yeah, we are serious about Men in Black.
And the topic is under Harold.
Right up here.
Yeah, so do you think there's going to be a Men in Black 4?
I could see, it managed to kick Avengers off the #1 list for, first film that was able to do that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
I think they'll find that the international gross is high enough to warrant a sequel. It just depends on whether or not Will Smith is game.
I think Will Smith is going to be game at this point. I think the issue is going to be a 72-year-old Tommy Lee Jones.
I think the smart move would have been relegating him to the Zed character role instead of having another head of Men in Black. They could have easily just made Tommy Lee Jones the head guy.
The problem if they did that, the whole movie is about saving Tommy Lee Jones. So if he's the head of Men in Black, that doesn't really work. I think it works.
What do you mean the whole movie's about saving Tommy Lee Jones? In this one?
Yeah, the new one.
Well, in this one, yeah, that was the main plot. But I mean, the next one doesn't have to be that plot.
Yes, but he's one of his compatriots from back in the day is the head of.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to have Josh Brolin in the present time, I don't think.
They can do more time traveling.
I feel like in a sci-fi series, you do time traveling once, you did it about your 3rd or 4th movie, you got it under your belt, you move on.
What about Star Trek?
Well, if they're following Star Trek's exact pattern, I think God is up next. And God doesn't need a starship.
Yes. God is everybody's starship, apparently. But wait, how does that have anything to do with... I guess...
That's the line in the film, because in the 5th one after the time travel movie, they go and they find this bearded, spiritual being, alien guy, and Kirk disproves it by saying God doesn't need a starship.
That is
true. You got to rewatch your Star Trek V, the derided Shatner-directed film.
You know what? I actually have it on Blu-ray. I might have to do that.
Don't just let your Blu-rays collect dust, Joe.
Well, speaking about Blu-rays, you know what I picked up today?
I don't.
2001. It was considered one of the top 10 best-looking Blu-rays on the market right now.
For a movie that came out in 1968, I could be wrong by a year or two, but it holds up Holds up well.
It's the quality of film. You just don't see that in movies these days. You don't see them like now. It's all digital and it's all high def. It's all really, really great quality. I mean, it's not 1998 anymore.
Yeah.
So video has caught up to film in the sense where you don't notice the difference anymore. But still, really good film movies are just amazing.
I mean, you got to give it up to the people that did it best with what they had available in terms of the technology of the time. I mean, your John Huston's, Orson Welles, Kubrick. Kubrick was actually the first guy that wanted to do the higher frame rate that Peter Jackson is using in The Hobbit, and he just never got it off the ground.
Harold Bigby did not invent television. That is a title that did not get changed over.
Oh, that's an old one, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to claim I invented anything because I'm sure I didn't. Maybe I don't know, movie phone. That might have been me.
I thought that was Kramer.
Kramer took it over. One memorable episode. I think we slip a Seinfeld reference into every episode.
Yeah.
We tried one out on Andrew Rest, our frequent caller, and it slipped right by him. I don't know where he was in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm apparently watching Power Rangers. Actually, I know for a fact he loved the Power Rangers.
What a disgusting use of his time.
All right, so I want to go to the next topic near and dear to my heart. 38 problems.
38 problems that just won't go away.
38 problems in a video game company is all of them.
A little place in Rhode Island, a cozy little place run by some guy from baseball or something.
Kurt Schilling?
Kurt Schilling, yeah. There you go.
And this week he came out and heavily criticized the governor of Rhode Island, Lincoln Chafee, for basically sabotaging his operation, saying that he had an investor lined up for a $35 million investment and was chased away by Lincoln Chafee, saying the company's toxic, don't touch this company, you can't touch this company, blah, 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 etc. And now it's kind of a war of words.
Well, I mean, whenever there's some major fallout or impending bankruptcy, you see people running their mouth off when they really shouldn't.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's how much is true that if he didn't say, yeah, don't invest in them, they're not solvent, how many people did that actually chase away? And saying, yeah, your video game is a failure, when apparently, according to EA, it beat its expectations of the game it was going to launch.
Well, it's probably going to take quite a few months to sort all this out, but I think the number one source is going to be Tyman On Tap.
Tyman On Tap. We were only second last week to the Boston Globe on breaking the story that Kurt Schilling laid off all his employees. So if you want news, that might not be the first, but definitely the best. Let's stay tuned to Tyman On Tap.
I mean, we're not high cost enough to have a zooming effect, but if they could see that I'm sporting a Deep Space Nine collector's mug. That's how good Tyman On Tap is. There we go. We got it. That is Deep Space Nine, still lingering around.
Which is just a ripoff of...
it's not a ripoff. Oh, it is a ripoff of...
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. Didn't it come out before Babylon 5?
Well, this is what happened.
Oh, the script was lying around, right?
The guy went to the studio, and he's like, hey, can we do this? And he's like, no, we can't. Then he's like, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do.
DS9 rocks over Babylon 5. DS9.
No. There is a tradition we have on Tyman On Tap where the producer decides that he hates our position, especially Joe's. And it's funny that he's your number one backing guy right here, and he
he's
never
actually
agrees.
the signature on all his equipment. So we decided to break stuff. It's all his bill.
I mean, I tend to call him Phil, but what's his real name? Because I've just been calling him Phil. Like, hey, Phil, what's up? And he responds, but what was his name? Producer, what's your name? Will Krutsky? Am I saying it right? You sound like you're on Babylon 5. Get out of here.
No, DS9.
Even down to liking baseball is from Babylon 5. Like Babylon 5, if you haven't watched it, is a lot of baseball.
I'm not sure if you finished the anecdote, though, of why it's a ripoff.
Okay, so basically, J. Michael Straczynski comes into the studio and says, I got this great idea. You got a space station. The world's at war. All these aliens coming down. And it's blah, blah. And they're like, nah, I don't think we're going to do it this time, you know. We still have Star Trek Next Generation. We have this other show coming down the line, Star Trek Voyager. I don't think it's the right time for another sci-fi series. So dejected, he takes the script and goes home. A couple weeks later, or more than a couple weeks later, shortly after that, before his show got off the ground, he saw that they made a pilot of basically his show that he wanted to release to viewers at home.
Well, I think Deep Space Nine was the last production, or was he Roddenberry involved in that? I think it was actually, it reflected Roddenberry's vision of where he wanted to go with the series, because while his Next Generation was clearly a rehash of the formula, at least in season 1 of the original series, Deep Space Nine was kind of the next progression.
Well, Deep Space Nine is about a bunch of people coming together out in space and like being like, okay, let's
Yeah,
do
it's
this.
like, we pulled off global socialist utopia on Earth in the series. Now we need to just take it on the road.
And that's actually very similar to the not necessarily Babylon 5. There's a lot more war and everything. Everybody's about to destroy each other constantly, and it's constant war-like, constant things are blowing up, that type of stuff. But
Yeah, but what about, I could be saying it wrong, the Maquis on the later Star Trek series? They were always having some kind of civil war.
it's a very, very similar show.
Well, I mean, it's a simple...
You're traitors.
Yeah, and then you don't even like the Maquis, who they
Well,
did
you don't
they
even
did provide
care.
us with half the cast of Star Trek Voyager, Mr. Producer.
The Maquis did. They were big in Voyager. They really loved
Yeah.
them on Voyager.
Chakotay, I mean, that guy, you can't talk
Yeah.
smack about him. Not a traitor.
Yeah, you just love his name. It sounds like a pepper.
Yeah, it's spicy. Chakotay.
Chakotay.
Best Native American ever.
Ugh. Well, I mean, we have gone on such a Roddenberry rant here, but is there any follow-up to your 38 problems for 38
It's
studios?
going to be interesting. They're investigating the layoffs and saying that they need to give the state 60 days before they announce layoffs. They also are saying that there's an issue about when the last paychecks are sent out to the company, and that's another big deal. They basically weren't paid for a month. I mean, there's like a lot of potential fallout, and this keeps getting juicier and juicier every moment. And it's going to be really interesting to see when it's all said and done, what happened? Why did they fail? How much is the government at fault for it? How did they even get a loan? Why did the state of Rhode Island juice this company with an extra $75 million when they already had started going and already were able to slowly produce a game and we're going to release something? What was going on with it? I mean, it's just something we need to follow, and if you stay tuned to Tyman On Tap, we will follow it over time.
I think what you're seeing is the New England government has a history of interfering with business and driving it away.
It's very tough unless you're in New Hampshire to start a business in New England.
Connecticut has long since diminished its government contractors, and they've barely kept the ones they have, let alone, I mean, this instance in Rhode Island. They're just following suit with our glorious Constitution state.
Well, the problem with Rhode Island is vastly different than the problem in Connecticut.
Yeah.
The
I'm not saying they're tit for tat, but
Tit for tat.
oh,
Free.
schlemizel, schlemazel. We're skipping through the streets
Yeah.
here.
Love, take me down.
What is this? Filio T. Farnsworth? This is these title cards have completely lost their mind. I'm an Idaho farmer who invented television. Is that how people in Idaho sound? I think
that's a
think
true
not.
story. He invented television when he was 16 years old.
That's that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I spent so much of my time sitting in front of the television just racking up calorie points, and I did not know a darn thing about its history.
Yes. All right. Let's move on to another topic. Now that we kind of talked about the new updates in 38 studios, free APIs for one and all. You're a legal mind of sorts, as you would say.
I mean, I've spent some time as a paralegal. I formed a couple, corporations, but we'll see what I have to say about this topic.
So today, a judge ruled that in a suit, Google versus Oracle, that let me pull up my show notes here. Occasionally, my iPad does not want to work with me, and I cannot get my show notes. So
And that is not a criticism of Apple as a company, because you do not take care of technology. You traditionally break everything you have.
traditionally, the electricity in my apartment has a tendency of breaking my stuff.
I think we're getting into some libel and slander here, Joe, against the good people of Wallingford that run your establishment, your hobble.
Okay, Oracle versus Google. Oracle sued Google for basically using Java APIs and publishing information and basically teaching other people how to use it, saying that it's copyright material. Turns out today, the judge said, no, this is not copyrighted material. Just knock it off.
What
Stop
court was that decided that, Joe? Because if it's not the highest court in the land, I think you're going to see some appealing coming up?
I'm not sure. Let me
You
look
know what? Just move on, Joe.
Here.
We will not know the court. We have our researchers in the back looking into it.
Yeah, but basically the point is that a judge basically ruled Oracle and Google are in constant lawsuit over everything possible because Google loves Java, and eventually it's the District Court of California.
Oh, okay, so the district court.
Yeah.
They're going to appeal that. That's
The Court of Appeals.
Yeah, the Court of Appeals. It's going to move forward. I think there's going to be people that are going to have a problem with this interference. You know, the judiciary is great for keeping people in line, but they like to make these blanket rulings and try to hold people at the district court level. But I think there's going to be some lawyers definitely keen to get involved in this.
There's another loss, though. We got to talk about something interesting. Oracle is losing their lawsuits against Google. They lost another lawsuit to Google over there was a 9-line function in 100-something million lines of code that was in their Android environment, and so they sued them, and they spent tens of millions of dollars on the case, and only got awarded $150,000 for using these 9 lines, and then all Google had to do was remove the code and pay the fine. So I mean, it's just not being Oracle does not do well in these cyber court laws.
No, I think they're not living up to the reputation that you'd like them to have. It's just excellent litigators.
And actually, interesting you say about the appeal.
There's already some buzz on that appeal?
There's already some buzz that they will not only have to get it overturned in the Court of Appeal, they actually have to go to a jury trial next to appeal it.
Fantastic. I mean, if there is any question of fact in a case, you're going to want a jury to decide, because without, if you don't think a reasonable jury could come to a conclusion, you can't just have a summary judgment. You're going to need a jury of peers to look it over.
So it's interesting. So yeah, there's a conference. They're going to conference on the 21st of June, and they're going to decide about how much of the $150,000 that Google's going to pay Oracle.
Well, the legal team is going to want at least 20-30% of it, but who knows if they'll get a chance to see it.
Well,
this could be tied up for years. I mean,
Oracle has already spent millions of dollars on lawyers that they're not getting back. Even if they eventually win this, they'll end up spending so much money appealing it because of how high profile this is.
Oh yeah, the further you take it, the more in the hole you're going to be financially.
So it almost makes sense for them to drop it at this point.
Yeah, plus they're kind of drawing way too much attention to themselves and how they're floundering.
Yes. So
not all press is good press.
Yeah, in this case. So it's just interesting. If people know anything about the world of Java, people know about the lawsuit between Microsoft. Actually, not a lot of people know about this. Even my classes were talking about Java, and I was one of the only few people to know about this. Years ago, before .NET and C# and everything came out, Microsoft wanted to use Java as their main programming language. They released a bunch of CDs out to run the Java virtual machine through with Microsoft and all this stuff. So they were running along smoothly. And then Sun sued them. And they settled out of court where Microsoft gave them some money. Microsoft switched from Java and eventually used what became C#. And they stopped producing Java virtual machines. So it's clear that Sun, which is now owned by Oracle, had a history of going to court and winning these lawsuits saying, this is our stuff, get it back to us. But I guess, maybe the common law has changed so much in the last 15 years that the idea of programming languages and programs aren't as protected as they used to be.
I mean, it's probably a lot of these lawsuits are what's binding people because, I mean, the judge ends up modifying the law with his judgments. That's the precedent for these future cases. They keep tying up these issues in court. There's going to be some definitive information on it available with some simple research, and they're only making things worse for themselves by dragging each other into court.
And we're also dealing with something that there's probably not a lot of precedent on.
Oh, no, I mean, you mentioned the common law. The common law would not have foreseen these kind of issues.
Yeah.
This is all judge-made ruling. This is all statutory. But, I mean, the internet alone has created so many issues about what does it mean to publish, what you could be held accountable, could the person hosting the website be held accountable? I mean, it's just been a mess for the past 15, 20 years in the legal system.
It's really interesting. We're really treading on new territory in terms of cyber law.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to intellectual property and privacy are these two issues that are just going to be carrying on as a problem for, I mean, at least a decade.
All right, so we're running into break time, so we're going to take a nice short 2-minute break. We're going to show you a nice PSA about some Halloween stuff.
Oh, man, starting early this year at Tyman On Tap.
Hey, holidays are approaching fast if you work in the world of e-retail.
Oh, yeah, Halloween is the next one, so buy your Hall & Oates costumes and get ready.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. Happy Halloween.
From Wallingford and WPAA.
Yes, we are. Happy Halloween.
I was working
Yay.
in the lab
We did it.
late one night.
We killed the
My eyes
turkey.
beheld an eerie
Happy Halloween!
slab began to rise.
Happy Halloween.
To my surprise,
Happy Halloween.
Monster Mash.
Happy Halloween from Grand Temple Karate!
Did the monster
Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween!
Trick or treat. I'm the Easter Bunny.
Happy Halloween!
They did the
Happy
monster
Easter.
It caught on in a flash.
Happy Halloween.
It did the
Happy
monster
Halloween.
Movies were
Happy Halloween.
The party had just begun.
Happy MMA, this is bone soup for you. Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween. Everybody. Happy Halloween. I got to forget.
Bangers were about to arrive.
Happy Halloween from the staff and board members of WPAA.
Play the monster mash.
And Freeman Penny. Come on down and visit us anytime. We're here for you. Hi, Andy. I'm on TV just for you.
From his coffin, Drax
Me too.
seemed he was troubled by.
So, you're looking for help with your mortgage. Worried about foreclosure? We can help you keep your house. All we ask for in return is that you submit to our plans for galactic domination.
Hey, everybody, we got another nice shot of New Haven behind us. Everybody go check out New Haven this weekend. It's a beautiful city. What's your favorite part of New Haven?
Oh, I like the food, as you could probably tell from my stature here. I load up on Louis' Lunch. I go to Bar Pizza. I never leave that place hungry.
That's good, because you spend a lot of money there. Bar is very expensive.
It is, but it's not like I'm going, well, you know what, I have actually spent most of my past couple of weeks in New Haven, but generally I don't spend too much time there loading up on snacks.
But you love the tasty treats.
I think what's more important than the tasty treats is this PSA we had.
All right, everybody, we just want to let you know.
Oh, I'm not
Call
worried
in,
about
before we're going to get the PSA in a second. Call in 203-265-6310.
Call that number and call it right now.
Call
Talk
it
about
often,
whatever you
call
want.
it frequent. I'm here.
Harold Bigsby is
Harold
here.
Bigsby is here. Will Krutsky's here. You want to ask a question? Let's do it. Do it well. Do
But
it.
what I wanted to point out real brief is that there was a kid in a Punisher shirt wielding an axe in that PSA. I didn't hear the sound, but I can't possibly imagine what it was about.
You're saying Happy Halloween.
I knew he was saying Happy Halloween, but was there any more to it than that? We're just jumping the gun on October?
Yeah, we're just getting everybody ready for Halloween.
All right, I could buy it. I could dig it. What do we got up next? What's on tap, buddy?
On tap, reCAPTCHA hacked. So they found a way to listen to the play the audio for reCAPTCHA, and actually they're more accurate than a human entering reCAPTCHA. These machines listening to the reCAPTCHA, typing it in. They're at 99% accuracy.
So they're going to get rid of typists nationwide? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that's what they're getting. I think that.
I think if you make a mistake, you should be considered a human. And if you get it perfect, then you're a computer.
Oh, wow. Our producer is getting deep into some Asimov territory here with what does it take to be a man, or even Descartes. What does it take? I think, therefore I am, that kind of thing. Deep issues over just a typing machine, but I could always appreciate our producer for that. So what is the implication here, Joe? Where do we stand?
It means that all these systems that we thought were secure are not secure anymore. There is no way now. Recently, this thing called the Turing test, which the Turing test is the test in artificial intelligence, whether something has broke the line to being a human. The Turing test is once you can confuse a human, that a machine can answer your questions well enough for it to think it's a human, it has passed the Turing test. Therefore, it is on level of intelligence with a human being. That was recently passed. So now the next step is something completely different in bots and artificial intelligence. It's listening to the reCAPTCHA and entering information, making email accounts, making spam, doing all this crazy stuff that we once thought was preventing us from being from something being a machine.
I mean, we're only 20 years off from the horrors of Skynet brought to us in T2 Judgment Day, and now it looks like we're much closer to that event. Cataclysmic robot war is on the horizon, audience. Look out.
Yes, on the horizon in the next
40 years.
40 years?
Do you think that's how long it's going to take before we really have an issue of robot supremacy? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 years. We'll get back on episode 50,000 of Tyman On Tap. We'll be playing this footage back and saying we nailed it first on public access.
Public access is usually the driving force behind conspiracy theories.
That's because they're the only people that'll listen, but they're the people that need to call in now. And I don't remember the number offhand, but you should call it because we want to know what you think. 203-265-6310. What do you think about the humanization of robots?
Yeah. Well, now spam. We are going to get a lot more spam. We're going to get a lot more form spam. We're going to get a lot more...
We're going to get more convincing spam because right now when I'm on AOL Instant Messenger, as I frequently am, and one of these bots starts talking to me, I immediately know it's not a person. Just, hey, inappropriate comment. But these bots, when they're more up to speed, they might just convince me to give my credit card information.
Yeah. Well, you also say, if a pretty girl asks you for your credit card information, you'll give it to her.
You give it to her quick.
Yes.
Because that might be the last time you have any conversation with her. Get your social security. You probably know it off the top of your head. Rattle it off to her. Write it down for her. That's love advice.
Love and Spoonful. Great band.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of hits in the 1966, 67 range, but I don't think anyone's heard them since too much. John Sebastian, after doing the Welcome Back Kotter theme, kind of fell into obscurity.
Well, wouldn't you if you did Welcome Back Kotter?
I mean, that's how I'd want to end my career. That's like, that's a Mona Lisa of art.
Welcome
art
back,
right
welcome back, welcome back.
Beautiful stuff. Also launched Travolta, didn't it?
It launched Travolta, yes. Now he wants to be masseuse.
I don't think he wants to be a masseuse, but I think there's a lot of masseurs after him for a couple greenbacks.
This reminds me of a nice, great band. I'm fans with the Kingstown Trio, the Kingsburg, whatever the folk band, the trio band.
Kingstown Trio?
Yes.
Or Kingston Trio?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't remind me of that. What reminds you of that? what we just said?
Don't
or this,
give a damn about a greenback $1. Spend it as fast as I can.
That's not one of those words you're not allowed to say, John?
You say damn.
Man, I just don't have a handle on modern day television. I'm still, the parents are sleeping in separate beds. That's the mentality I have about my TV.
That's a good mentality to have.
It's traditional values, kind of. So. Oh my goodness. So, we are moving on to what, Joe?
Amanda Bynes? Question mark.
Amanda Bynes. Do we have a cue card for her?
I just got. I have our topics here on this device, and Amanda Bynes happened to come across.
All right. What do you have to say about Amanda Bynes post all that, Joe? I mean, she has not real. She might have peaked when she was like 12 years old.
Yeah, maybe 15.
Oh, she did get into a kind of DUI situation, huh?
Did she ever?
But what? Seriously, what about Amanda Bynes do you want to tell me?
I don't want to say anything about Amanda Bynes.
According to her official Twitter, she doesn't drink.
Oh, looks like we're getting a call.
Are we getting a call on the Wallingford hotline? Here it comes.
Answer it?
Answer it.
No, I guess we're not getting a call. Definitely the phone ring.
All right. Well, what else are we moving on to from Amanda Bynes?
She doesn't drink, according to her official Twitter.
You know, I mean, they also said Miley Cyrus was smoking salvia, which I really don't think is the case. I think you would just expect Hannah Montana to be token away, breaking the law. I don't care how decriminalized it might be where she comes from, but yeah, she's a Disney role model.
Disney role model indeed.
Yeah, Timberlake, Spears. All right.
The only movie she did was He's All That.
She's all that.
What was
He's All That.
That wasn't a Shakespeare adaptation?
No, it was not a Shakespeare adaptation.
Oh, 10 Things I Hate About You is what I was stuck on.
But that's not Amanda Bynes. It's Alice Mack.
Ooh, you are good on your late 90s to early 2000s nonsense comedies.
Okay, going on next. Space. Going back to the theme that we talked about earlier, 2001, A Space Odyssey. You think that movie is basically like, that book, is basically like the new Bible.
I mean, I spent a lot of the mid to late 90s in a retreat in the mountains reading, Stranger in a Strange Land, 2001, just meditating, sitting back and...
Was there any peyote involved?
I'm not going to, confirm or deny something like that on national or public television. But, yeah, I mean, 2001, I think, is a timeless novel/film collaboration. They actually planned them at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, the screenplay and the book were going into production or...
What about the later sequels? When are they coming out in movie?
2010 already is a movie.
What about the later sequels?
There was a push for, I believe, Morgan Freeman to get some Arthur C. Clarke properties in development, but I think he was focused on Rendezvous with Rama, which is an excellent book about exploring a spaceship.
We have Morgan Freeman loves his space. For a guy who's never been in a sci-fi movie, really.
But I mean, years ago, people like Philip K. Dick, Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov, they were talking about these commercial ventures into space. 1979's Alien, it was the commercial exploration vessel or mining vessel. And now what do we have? Commercial space program.
Yes. Well, speaking of the commercial space program, excellent topic. I'm sure you're aware of SpaceX, right?
Absolutely. Was that the...
Dragon?
Yeah, the one that we got the dragon by the tail. They sent out supplies to the International Space Station.
By the way, anybody who's ever played Dungeons & Dragons or read The Hobbit would not want to grab a dragon by the tail.
No, you'd want to get Bard and the Black Arrow if you were talking Hobbit terms, but I guess spoilers for the upcoming film.
If you haven't read The Hobbit, do it now.
Yeah, because it is probably one of the most riveting and witty adventures I've ever read.
Well, back to the topic. So
SpaceX.
And on top of that, the FAA just gave Virgin Galactic a permit to have commercial space travel.
That is fantastic. And how do you think the early figures are going to be for a ticket on that?
I read it was something like hundreds of grand per seat.
Yeah, and I don't know. Oh,
ooh, we're getting a
call.
call.
Hopefully about space.
I can't read the caller ID.
Just answer it. Let's wing it. Who is it? Tom. It's Tom.
Hello, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Tom. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
I I just wanted to call and say welcome to the WPAA family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to see great local programming.
I'm glad we have supporters out there.
Much better than staring at a blank parking lot.
And I mean, how many times do you need to know what's going on at the local high school anyway?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I don't like staring at a blank parking lot.
Oh yeah, we do have our parking lot cam that kicks in late at night.
Yeah, or programming from out of the area. I'd much rather see local programming, and it's great to see you along with Citizen Mike and Open Mike with Michael Cuomo.
Yep.
We have a lot of bikes on the station.
We're starting to branch out with subject matter, though, on the station. You know, you got your politics. We're bringing a little geek tech news to the mix. But what else would you like to see on the channel?
I'm just enjoying what I'm seeing right now. I like the Scenario, too, on Friday nights with Aaron Sandler. That's a great show,
Oh,
too.
yeah, great stuff.
But keep up the great work, and I'll keep watching.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And here we have some positive feedback from the Wallingford community.
Yeah.
Last time or a couple of shows ago, we had threatening pizza calls.
Yes. We've had a couple threatening calls. It's good to have a good call once. When somebody called and ordered a pizza, and then somebody else called and tried to tell me some other show was better than mine, and then we promptly hung up on them. And that's actually the callback. That's not actually the number.
That's disappointing.
Okay. It went away. But yes. Well, thank you, Tom, for calling in. We appreciate you listening. Appreciate you viewing. Appreciate you calling in. Have any time anybody wants to call in, talk about anything, give us praise, actually criticize us, we'll be willing to listen. Just give us a call here.
We're always looking to make the station better, and we know a lot of the behind-the-scenes people, and they're ready to pitch some shows if you got ideas, people.
Yeah.
So I think we still want to talk about commercial flights in space, which I think is one of the dreams I've had since I saw that initial flyover shot of the Star Destroyer, or what are they called, Star Destroyers?
Star Destroyer?
Yeah, Star Destroyer. In Star Wars, 1977.
Man, that was a long time ago.
I mean, I didn't see it when it came out, obviously.
I saw it in the 90s, personally.
I saw it in the early 90s on tape before George Lucas got all fired up about computer graphics. Too hot of a topic to get into, because we are on opposite sides of the fence about the special edition trilogy. And, I mean, anything that Lucas did after 83, we have mixed opinions about. But
Isn't that Raiders of the Lost Ark? No, wait.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was 80, 81, something like that.
What was
83 was Return of the Jedi.
When was Last Crusade?
That was 89. That's gold. That's solid gold.
You said 83 though.
All right, so I'm wrong. But I also like Willow 86. Willow with Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis. But meanwhile, commercial flights to space. This is seriously something that I've dreamed of for years.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean,
I just need to put a couple mortgages on my property, and I could afford one ticket.
But you mean, hey, we're farther along now than we ever were.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like since 1969 we really haven't seen much movement into space. It takes the ingenuity of the small business owner to kickstart our travels.
Apparently,
someone's moving a couch in the studio.
Yeah, this means some couches being moved.
Hopefully, better seating for our guests or for us, because this thing is a solid wood, a real firm wood that just gets into you, Joe.
Hey, but it keeps us upright, it keeps us perky, it keeps us happy, it keeps us going.
Nothing like it.
There's other things like it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so right now, if you want to fly into space, you have to give the Russian government $2 million, and you have to take the cosmonaut training.
Nothing goes into space, human or otherwise, without the Russians going ahead. I mean, Putin is laying down the iron fist once again.
Well, this is also going back to when Obama basically canceled the space program a couple years ago for funding reasons. And now we're actually, surprisingly, it's not really the type of spacecraft we would have been building if the government was paying for it, but we are still developing spacecraft, reusable spacecraft that could actually connect and dock with already existing craft in the air.
I mean, say what you will about the Republicans, but they've always had their eyes in the sky. I mean, George W. Bush was talking about by 2017 having some serious advancements with Mars. And you got Gingrich putting moon bases out there, and no one really picked that up and ran with it. Went with the successful Mormon businessman. But moon bases, people, next time, go for the moon base.
If you vote for somebody that wants to do moon bases, you don't have to worry about them being sane.
You realize that they have no stock in the future of mankind if they want to put you on the moon.
Man, they just want to go on the moon and let the world burn.
I mean, according to every recent blockbuster, there's some kind of wild stuff on the dark side of the moon, like secret space prisons in Men in Black. You got your giant ancient transformer in the third film.
And what else is in there that destroys stuff on the moon or something on the moon?
Oh, I mean, Austin Powers 2, they tried to get a moon laser going. So even the moon is just a source of wild bases, and we need to make that a reality.
In The Tick, they partially destroy the moon with a laser.
And that probably affected title issues. But anyway, what do we got next, Joey?
I think we're going to take a nice PSA break.
Public service announcement. We got a great Halloween one last time. I think we're about to get something even more shocking and amazing.
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Ativa and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org. When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Ativa and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
I don't think we have a title for this. Let's kind of rush for the show. Let's talk about Lucas.
You mean that people don't plan things months and months in advance on public access? Fly by the seat of your pants television here, folks.
It is fly by the seat of your pants television. It is like a Videodrome.
I mean, when you're watching Joe Tyman strap yourself in, it's a bumpy ride.
Hold on to your butts, as they like to say.
In 1993. But we do have another topic, and it is LucasArts. Or just Lucas. A good old buddy of mine, plays in a jazz band. No, but LucasArts, the studio behind such classics as Rogue Squadron, Rogue Squadron 2, and
Rogue Squadron 3.
Oh, there was one?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about them, Joe? They got something new coming out? Lucas A?
This is LucasArts, yeah.
We modify things like you wouldn't believe. So what do they got?
What do they got?
Are they going to do better than Knights of the Old Republic?
Well, let's talk. What's your favorite all-time LucasArts game?
I think if I had to pin it down, it might be Dark Forces 2, because it really broke away from the standard Doom format where you're just a corridor shooter. Gave you a little work with the lightsaber. There was one of those early games that measured, whether or not you were good or evil. You could become run with the dark side, as Yoda warned us against, or you could go with the light side. It was fantastic.
I like Jedi Knight 2 myself. I liked it a little better than Dark Forces.
Jedi Knight 2 was an improvement.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I singled out Dark Forces 2 is because it was the first time they did that and really gave it almost an RPG action-adventure quality.
Yeah. I think maybe KOTOR, the original one, was my favorite.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to go back a little ways, I love The Dig, which
The Dig was great.
Spielberg was involved with. I think Alan Forrester, somebody wrote the novelization. Robert Patrick from Terminator 2 and various other films was a voice actor. It was excellent. It was something that you could tell Spielberg wanted to do theatrically, but in the early 90s you just couldn't pull it off outside of the video game world.
Yeah, so right now, I don't think we get... Ooh, they leaked screenshots, so we're actually going to look up some screenshots.
Well, we're not going to get the audience to see these screenshots, are we?
No, but maybe I can tell you what game it is. But right now, it's E3, or the start of E3, I believe, in Las Vegas, or Los Angeles, excuse me.
E3 is the big major video game conference of the year.
It is a reboot of Star Wars Battlefront.
Star Wars Battlefront was outstanding. That game, I spent a lot of hours in front of the first one.
I remember in college, my trailer down by the woods, playing that with my roommates who moved into the woods and never moved out. They're still in the woods right now in Newtown, Connecticut.
Yep, Joe's former roommates are somewhere in Glacier National Park, I think, hiding out in Montana, right?
I think they came back to Connecticut.
Oh, they came back after that? But either way, Battlefront was an excellent game. It just gave you great command of such classic vehicles as the AT-AT, the AT-ST, Snow Speeder, etc.
It was great games. The third one was in a studio that went bankrupt, so they canceled the game. But there were some screenshots that came out that were pretty damn cool. They showed evil or Sith Obi-Wan.
Sith Obi-Wan, was it him at his old and grizzled age, like Alec Guinness?
Yeah, it was like Alec Guinness as a Sith Lord.
Alternate universe. I mean, it's too bad Sir Alec Guinness didn't get to stick around for the prequels, because it would have been
like 100 years though.
He died. They actually used his voice for the trailer for the original Episode 1.
And did they use it for Episode 3 also?
Yeah, but it could have been cool to have maybe some bookend scenes with old Obi-Wan in his hut, kind of, relaxing.
Oh, we're getting another call.
Let's see who it is.
Wireless caller.
Wireless caller. Here you are.
Hello.
How you doing?
Is anybody there?
Is there anybody out there? If you're watching now, you might be on the air. No, looks like a dead call. Cut it. Cut him loose.
Well, whoever that was, please call back again.
We'd love to talk to you about, George Lucas's vision for video games, or his failing vision as he reaches his 70s soon.
Is his vision actually failing?
The guy's been wearing glasses since I've known him. But either way, the jury's still out on George Lucas's vision.
Here's a call again.
Someone's coming back?
No, because not.
All right, well.
Occasionally we get a call back. The call ring back.
We'll see how persistent they are. If they are a friend of Joe's, they're going to keep calling.
Yes, whoever did call, please call in again.
So anyway, this is a reboot of Battlefront. And Battlefront 2, remind me, what did they introduce that really distinguished it?
Was it just more of the same stuff. Okay, now we're getting a call. Hello, you are on live in Wallingford, Connecticut. Thank you.
You are so far just pelting us with hang-ups, and that is cool, because we take any kind of caller, no matter how vocal they are, although preferably a little bit more to say. Anyway, when are they projecting to reveal actual footage of this game?
Okay, looks like we're getting another call.
Who could it be? Same guy? Pop him on.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, you are on Tyman On Tap. You are on Tyman On Tap.
All right, this person is not, because the producer is actually calling him.
Producer is going to tell him, fix it. Fix your methods. But in the meantime, Joe, let's see if we can talk about Battlefront for 2 more seconds before they call us. They pelt us with Battlefront calls.
Yes. The phone...
Oh, man.
I know who that is, probably. If that is who I think it is, please call back and not hang up on us this time.
Call us back. Call us back with a vengeance.
All right.
Because that's what you do the third time.
So Battlefront 3 or 2 was just basically a continuation of the first game, and like
more of the same. You're just
okay. We're getting a call. Let's see who it is. Are you guys?
Supposedly, we're not getting prank called by the studio, which is one of their favorite tactics on a Thursday night.
They do like it.
In any event, so it's basically, we have no idea where Battlefront 3 is going. This might be a cursed topic. I think we should just cruise right past it.
All right. Amazon patenting something else.
Really, Amazon's taking over again, huh?
Well, we all know about Amazon's one-click patent that basically made it impossible for any other company to have a website where you can just click one button and buy an item.
Yeah.
Now they have got a patent awarded on the idea of electronically gifting somebody something. So
really? I mean, Steam does that. People are always giving me games for gifts, and I love it.
Not anymore.
I appreciate it greatly. So now, next time someone wants to just gift me, a lovely game, I'm gonna have to kick it back to Amazon.
You're not gonna have anything. Not gonna do it.
There's just not gonna be gifts outside Amazon.
Well, Amazon killed the one-click market when they're patent. All right.
Here we go. This could be our classic friend, wireless caller.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, you're live on Tyman On Tap.
What is the game that you're talking about?
We were talking about Battlefront 3, which is a Star Wars game where you control basically all the classic vehicles from the series, and it's kind of like, just a tactical battle game along the lines
of third-person shooter.
Oh, it's a third-person shooter?
Yeah.
All right, well, it's a Star Wars game. Oh, that's all I wanted to know.
Well, actually, let's. It's actually. Does anybody want to call him back and find out who that actually was? We're gonna have our producers find out who that is.
We're gonna name drop you, unless you really don't want your name on Wallingford Television, and I don't blame you for that.
Yes, that's what we're
But
gonna do.
anyway, Amazon is just taking it over, Joe.
Ooh, we're getting a call again.
I love it.
Hello? All right, so two callers that aren't our traditional callers. Andrew, our traditional caller, and
Our traditional caller, Andrew S., usually kicks it in around 3/4 when we're
but
absolutely
he
losing
cannot
our
make it
minds.
today. He's having issues with his landlord.
His
Coming
landlord.
down hard on him.
Really?
Cracking the whip.
Is Andrew just ducking on his payments?
Who knows? We'll find out on the next episode.
On the next episode, you're going to find out whether or not you could trust Andrew S., our longtime friend, because it sounds like he's dodging his rent. And I can't abide by that, Andrew. Oh.
We don't actually know what's going on with Andrew, so we're not going to jump to conclusions.
I'm going to disparage him. Andrew, come on and defend yourself.
No.
I am Philly O.T. Farnsworth, the inventor of television, and I have spoken.
Yeah, so Amazon, Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, once said he would give up all his patents in order not to have any electronic patents, but it doesn't stop them from constantly getting more and more patents. So, Phil, the producer, we have, 7 minutes left? So if we get any more calls, let us know. But Harold,
yeah?
What is your legal opinion about this patent of electronic gifting?
I mean, I am neither an attorney nor an expert legal advisor. I've only dabbled in the field. However, as a consumer and an advocate for freedom, I really disagree with canceling out something that clearly other businesses are doing already. People have gift programs on various websites. Mike.
Hello.
Hey, Mike, you're live on Tyman On Tap.
Sorry.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
Yes.
what's up?
My phone died. I called before. What is the game that you were talking about?
Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Which
Is
is,
it?
what?
What is it? It's a third-person shooter set in the world of Star Wars that you can play in different settings, different period of time.
And it's pretty good. Who do we have here on the air?
This is Stephanie.
Well, it's been good talking with you, Stephanie.
So are you excited for the new LucasArts game?
Yeah.
Have you played Star Wars Old Republic at all?
I've seen it played. I've never played it myself.
Well, it's definitely changed. Is that the MMO one, Joe?
Yeah, it's MMO.
I think it's really changed the way MMOs are played. I mean, I wish people would move away from the WoW format.
So do you have any comments or questions to bring up about today's topics?
No, the only thing I wanted to know you answered, so thank you very much.
All right, you have a great evening.
Thanks for calling
enjoy
in.
Wallingford Public Access.
You too.
Bye.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we just sold a copy of Star Wars Battlefront 3 when it comes out, and they're going to reveal it on E3. We might not know the reveal date for quite a while.
Yeah, well, E3 is this weekend, and I think it starts tonight, actually. I think
You are more up to speed on this than I am, obviously.
Oh, I do come up with the topics, so.
That's very true. All right. So what do we got to wrap up, Joe?
We got 5 more minutes.
We got 5 more minutes, huh?
Do you have anything you want to bring up before we close for the evening?
I mean, I am actually we're getting barraged with our crew in the background with a sign that I'm just going to go ahead and show you. Hold on just a minute.
Can we cut to me so we don't...
No, we're not cutting anything. They've been showing Let's Talk Tech. And you know what? We have talked a little bit of tech. We've talked some Amazon. We've talked some legal issues. But what I'm going to talk about now is film, Joe. Film. What are the films that you want to ride out the summer with?
Prometheus.
Dark
Knight Rises, I guess I'll see. I don't know. Is there anything else you really want to see this?
You know, all I've got left is Dark Knight Rises and Prometheus. And Prometheus, which I've probably brought up on the program, is a prequel to the 1979 film Alien, which if you have not seen it, go ahead, because Sigourney Weaver in underwear battling a guy in a rubber suit, not too bad.
I have to agree with you on that.
And the producers, for one time in the history of the show, agreed with us.
We are going to archive this footage. It's going to be in the bowels of Wallingford Public Access for millennia. They're going to find this rubble that was once Wallingford in 3,000 years when they're excavating and finding out the history of this great civilization that we once had. And they're going to see the one time our producer agreed with us.
Joe, that was like the end of an Ayn Rand book or something, like The Fountainhead, the glorious Sermon on the Mount. But, you know, I think, though, that Prometheus has, at least the international reviews have suggested that it's a visual treat, while the story is just, you know, typical sci-fi fare, oh, let's go find a dangerous species and see what happens. But I think they're saying it's visually going to blow people away. And Dark Knight Rises, how can you not see the third film?
Even if you're not thinking much of it, the camera is really out of focus right now.
That's fine. We're a blurry bunch over here in Wallingford.
Yeah, so...
And I think Dark Knight Rises, they're going to wrap up the League of Shadows storyline that just kind of snuck in the first movie and they dropped in the second. So they're going to come as full circle as they can without Heath Ledger in the mix.
Want to bet on a wager some fine steamed cheeseburgers over whether there'll be a fourth one or not?
That was one of the wildest buildups of anticipation I've ever had for a bet. And you know what? I'll bet you 3 or 4 steamed cheeseburgers at Ted's in North Haven.
And at the Meadows Music Theater now.
Yeah, they're all over the place. But either way, Ted's in North Haven. Check it out, steamed cheeseburgers. But we are going to bet whether or not there's going to be a fourth one. I say it's done. I say no one's done. I say reboot with a young, pretty boy. They're going to make it some high school angst, Batman nonsense. Christian Bale is done. That guy's back. The guy's got to be tired.
Here's 2 things why it isn't done. Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Christian Bale is not open to Batman like spin-offs where they get rid of Alfred and Keira Knightley.
And also, they said they weren't going to do another X-Men movie, and they found a way to stick in a couple X-Men movies here and there.
They might go ahead and pretend that a Batman movie about his younger days is connected to Batman Begins, Batman Before, or whatever you want to call it. But the truth of the matter is, even if Christopher Nolan is an executive producer, he is. It's not going to be his saga. It's going to be a new thing.
Oh, we're running out of time.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of great things today. Had some weird stumbling, bumbling moments. And we talked to Stephanie and who else?
Tom.
Stephanie and Tom, thanks for calling in. We really
call in
appreciate
next week.
You.
Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, we'll talk.
And if you want us to take a wildly different direction with the show, talk about, you know, clothing. Amanda Bynes, absolutely not. We'll see you. I'm Harold Bigsby, and this is
Joe Tyman. And with Tyman On Tap, see you next week. Have a good night. Thank you to our callers. See you next week. Bye-bye.